I thought Michigan was terrific today. They played great in every facet of the game. Their guards, their big guys. They obviously were the much better team today, and if they continue playing the way they did today, they got a chance to go a long way in this tournament. As for us, just was not our best game. We didn't have quite the spirit or energy that we've had when we've been at our best. I'm not sure why. We'll certainly watch the tape and analyze it. But again, a lot of it had to do with Michigan. They were terrific. I do want to say I'm really proud of all of our guys, but particularly our three seniors. They're the winningest class in VCU history. They won more NCAA tournament games than anyone in the history of the program, and they're a huge, huge reason why we were even in position to play today. So proud of those guys. It's too bad that their career had to end today the way that it did, but a lot of credit goes to Michigan.
Trade news. So much was made of Trey Burke and pressuring Trey Burke, but some of their other guys handled the press, it seemed, pretty well. Talk about how they had alternate means and alternate methods of handling your press.
Well, they have a lot of good players and a lot of good ball handlers. I think Burke is the best of them, but Hardaway did a nice job against the pressure. Stauskas did a nice job. Robinson helped out. I thought that as a team, they did a good job. We had stretches where we bothered them. We were able to turn Burke over 7 times, which, is a great number for someone that's that good of a player. But overall, we only forced 12 turnovers, which is much lower than what we normally do. And they were able to, when they did break the press, really make us pay. And I'm sure that was their game plan. We didn't fix it well enough out of the press. So that was one of the big differences in the game.
Chris Ballas at theWolverine.com. Coach, was there anything you saw on film of Mitch McGary that would lead you to believe that he'd have that kind of an impact on the game?
Well, I saw Mitch McGary quite a bit in AAU basketball. I mean, there's a reason. I think at one point in the year, at one point in his senior year, he was in the top 2 or 3 players in the nation. So, he came in here as a very talented kid, and then the coaching staff at Michigan's done an unbelievable job molding him and teaching him how to be successful at this level. He's had that motor since high school, but they've given him great guidance, and he outworked us tonight. He was today. He was terrific. He chased down a lot of loose balls. He was very good on the defensive end, physical presence. I knew he was really good. I certainly didn't know he was going to have 21 and 14 against us, but that's what good players do at this time of year. They step up and they play their best.
Nick Baumgartner, MLive.com. Shaka, you said yesterday this was, as usual, it's a risk reward for you guys, and you knew that it would be a challenge if they broke it. I mean, but talk about when they did, they just went to the basket and dunked it. I mean, how much were you, does that always happen, or is that just something that was part of their game plan? I mean, it seemed like they were just easy shots.
No, they did a nice job, and we did not do a very good job fixing, we say fixing it out of our press. Again, it is a risk-reward situation, but when we've been at our best, we've been able to press people, and even when they do break the press, we've been able to get matched up and then make them run their half-court offense. We did that at times tonight, but way too often. Burke was able to get in the lane. Other guys were able to get in the lane. Then our big guys had to help up, and they dropped it off to McGary or kicked it out for 3. And Michigan did a tremendous job of capitalizing on those opportunities. Sometimes when you force those type of situations, it ends up actually being good for you because the other team takes a hurried shot and misses, but Michigan capitalized almost every time.
Dave Hogue, FoxSportsDetroit.com. Coach, you had to sit Darius within the first 3 or 4 minutes with foul trouble in the first half, and then he picked up his third right away in the second half. How much does that hurt, both on offense and defense, to lose him like that? Well, we had to sit him, and we also had to sit Javonte Reddick, who's those two are arguably our best 2 players. We've dealt with foul trouble this year. It was a little frustrating. I think the officials were kind of letting the game go a little bit, which is good this time of year. But,
You know, unfortunately, Darius and Javante were called for those 2 quick fouls. You know, I think it does affect you, but the reality is you have to have other guys come in the game and step up and play well. You know, and I don't think that's the only reason we lost, but, you know, not having 2 of our best players in there certainly affected us. But you got to give credit to Michigan for making sure that they were on the offensive and very aggressive the whole day. When we're not the most aggressive team on the floor, then that typically doesn't bode well for us. And today, we certainly were not.
Mark Snyder, Detroit Free Press. You guys always think you're in a game, obviously, no matter what the score, because of your style, but was there a point in the second half when you realized that it was just going to be too much to overcome?
Well, we never give up, if that's what you're saying. You know, we're always going to keep playing. We're always going to keep attacking. But they did a great job of, once they had that lead in the second half and they were able to break pressure, their guards kind of dribbled around Burke and some of their other guys. I thought the kid Albrecht did a nice job coming in and contributing for them and playing under control. And then, you know, they were able to really eat a lot of clock that way, and so the game went, the clock went faster. So certainly when that was happening, then, you know, you don't really feel good about the way it's going.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Shaka, two questions. You talked a lot about matchups. Was this not a good matchup for you guys today? And second, you've got the program to the point where your goal is not to win one game in the NCAA and go home. Can you put into words your disappointment with this outcome?
Well, the first question is about the matchup. I think, you know, certainly in retrospect, it wasn't a very good matchup, but again, the credit for that goes to Michigan. I don't think that we, for whatever reason, had great bounce today and energy. You know, our guys tried. They always do. But I think what Michigan was able to do to us early on, and us missing some easy shots around the basket and maybe some outside looks that we normally make, that may have contributed to our spirit not being quite where it needed to be. So in terms of a matchup, yeah, I think Michigan's a tough matchup. I mean, that doesn't mean that you know, we couldn't have won the game if we had played better, or maybe they hadn't played as well. But yeah, I think it was a tough matchup for us. That's certainly not an excuse. Excuses get you beat in the NCAA tournament. So they just were the better team today. That's really all I can say in terms of that. In terms of my disappointment, yeah, I mean, anytime you lose, you're disappointed. And anytime you lose by the margin we lost by, that's even more disappointing. And then in the NCAA tournament format, it's win or go home. So now that we lost, we have to go home instead of, you know, moving on to the Sweet 16, which that's a tough pill to swallow. I think you're trying to get at the expectation that we have to go further. You know, on one hand, Paul, I'm really proud of our guys. Somebody told me earlier, where I think we're one of 7 programs in the whole country that's won an NCAA tournament game each of the last 3 years. So I think that says a lot about what our guys have done and the progress we've made as a program. But obviously today, not good enough. We need to be better. We need to get better. And that's across the board. That's all of us. But that's what we'll set out to do.